been a while. I always say the same thing when I apologize for making videos, so I don't think I have to repeat it again. But yeah, I'm gonna really try to make more videos, tell you what God has put on my heart, to tell you as my brothers and sisters. Yeah. Today's video is about dating. I made a video about dating before, probably a couple of videos before this one, but I'm making this video because I have new perspective. I have new things to tell you. I can give you more guidance. I can give you advice that I've been told by others, and I can tell you from my own experience. And also my old videos I kind of want to delete because I'm not happy with them, basically. Yeah. Yeah. But I'll start off by telling you about my ex-boyfriend. I won't tell you name, but you probably know. If you don't know him, then you won't know his name. If you do know him, then you will know who he is. Yeah. So basically, I met this guy at Rice Rally. I met this guy at Rice rehearsals for Rice Rally, and he did choir and I did dance. He was a very sweet guy. He was very nice. He was very cute. He was very it was just amazing. I saw him as perfect. I was like, hey, this guy's perfect. And I was sort of very easy to start liking him. He was very easy. He started liking me as well. So it kind of worked out very well. No, yeah, we started liking each other, and asked each other to each other's formals, and yeah, and yeah, we went out for about a month and a half before I broke up with him. The reason behind that was that sort of halfway through, like about 3 or 4 weeks in, so about a month into our relationship, God had told me, you're spiritually dying, and I was like, oh damn, like I didn't even realize. And it was such a hard thing to hear when you think that you're doing fine and you think, oh yeah, it's all good, and then God tells you, no, you're not doing that well, you're dying. And I had to really reflect on the relationship before I realized why. And I realized that it was because of the reasons why I broke up with him. I broke up with him a couple weeks after God had told me that, but it had been on my heart from that time until the end of the relationship. It was that we both were not mature enough. I can admit that, and he can admit that as well. We both agree we were not mature enough. He couldn't adequately lead me as a boyfriend, as a brother, as a Christian. He couldn't lead me, and we couldn't glorify God, and we didn't censor God in our relationship. And it was a very worldly relationship, and it was, I know for myself, I can admit this, that I was kind of infatuated. Well, not infatuated, I was really kind of latched on to the whole physical side of the relationship, and he was latched onto the emotional side, and it was hard for both of us because he was very emotional and he was very sensitive. It was kind of difficult because he was very emotional. He was very sweet all the time, very nice. He was always saying that I was amazing and I was beautiful and I was the perfect girl, and I would say the same things back to him, but I wouldn't mean them quite as much as he would to me, because that was what he wanted out of the relationship. He wanted the emotional side. He wanted the love. He wanted the care. He wanted the emotions, and I kind of wanted the same thing, but I was more thinking about the physical side, and it was a very kind of embarrassing thing to admit to myself. It was kind of hard for both of us, seeing as we were in our first relationships, and it was our first relationships and we were with each other, and it was very kind of, we didn't make ground rules, we didn't draw lines anywhere. It was sort of learn as you go, which kind of is hard. Yeah. The way I broke up with him was that I sent him an email. Kind of old-fashioned-ish. I didn't tell him on Facebook. I didn't, you know, Skype call him and be like, hey, you know, I think we should break up. I kind of was at home talking to him, and got a kind of suddenly sprang up on me and was like, hey Jen, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, you know, Sam's still not leading you, and I'm not being glorified in this relationship, and I'm not the center of your relationship. And I was like, yeah, and I sort of like, I just realized, like, I already realized, but it was more like, I had suddenly seen, wow, that's actually a really big thing. And God was like, what do you think you should do about that? And it wasn't like a, so, because I told you this, what do you think I should do about that, huh? Not it wasn't like a, you should break up with him. It was like a, Jen, what do you think you should do? Like, an actual question. And I thought about it for not very long before I came to the realization that I should break up with him. And sort of, God was encouraging. He was being very loving, and he was very understanding, as he always is. You know, God was God. God was himself. God was like, you know, yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I know that I can tell you, but before the relationship started, we were both infatuated with each other. We would talk to each other every day from the day we met until now. We are still talking to each other every day. Not quite as much as we used to, but, you know, still talking. At the beginning, we started off as friends. It didn't take him very long to start liking me, and it took me about a couple of days to ask me to go forward with him. It was either a couple of days or a week. Yeah, it took him a couple of days to a week to ask me to go forward with him, and then in that, when he was asking me to also confess, kind of confess without trying to make it obvious, but it was quite obvious. And I was like, it was in that moment that I realized I kind of like this guy. I have a crush on this guy. And we sort of knew then, we had admitted to each other, hey, I like you. And we didn't pursue, which is good. Oh, actually, no, I'm lying. I pursued. And he was sort of like, no, I don't want to. He was sort of like to himself, well, actually, I didn't find this out till later. I was pursuing him. I was pursuing him actively. I was talking to him a lot. I was being sweet. I was being nice. I was being myself. He saw that. He was like, oh, you're so nice. You're so sweet. You're so cute. And I was like, oh, yay. I was like, yeah. And then I was saying things back, obviously. I was like, you're really nice. You're really nice. You're sweet. You're really cute. You're adorable. He's very cute, okay? Don't judge me. But yeah, he was very cute. And yeah, I sort of was pursuing him. And I told my friend about him, and she was like, oh, he sounds like a really nice guy. You should hold on to this guy. And I'm like, yeah, he hasn't asked me out. And she was like, what? And she was like, give me your phone. I'm like, okay. I knew what she was going to do. Obviously, she was going to text him and tell him, ask her out. And I was like, okay. I gave it to her because I'm pursuing him, right? I want him to ask me out. I want to go out with him. So I was like, yep, sure. Help me pursue him. She would help me. She was sending him text messages. She was like, so when are you going to ask Jen out? When are you going to take her on a date? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do this? And he was like, oh no, I don't think we'll do it soon. And she was like, why? And I was like, sitting next to her, reading the messages, and I was like, why? And he was like, oh, you have yearlies coming up. And I was like, I don't care about yearlies. And I was really kind of, I was very worldly about this. But yeah, I started kind of pursuing him a little bit. And it was very, our whole relationship was very reversed. It was, I was doing what he should be doing, and he was doing what I should be doing. And it was very hard, and it was very difficult for us in that sense. In the essence that I was more spiritually mature than him. I was more spiritually grown than him, and it was kind of hard. It was hard for us. Yeah, and he wouldn't. It was hard because he wouldn't lead me. He couldn't lead me as a Christian, as a boyfriend. He couldn't lead me because I was more spiritually grown than him. It didn't make sense for me to be like, say, okay, so if you put in age, it's sort of like I was 16 and he was like 12, and your 12-year-old is trying to lead the 16-year-old, and you're just like, that doesn't work. The older person should be leading the younger person, not the young person leading the older person, right? And it was sort of like that. It was like I was a 16-year-old, he was a 12-year-old, and he tried to lead me and it didn't work. He had to be my age or older, so it would make sense for him to lead me because he's older than me. The relationship started out as me leading him, trying to guide him in how to lead me, and yeah, trying to guide him along and teach him how to lead me. And then I realized that it was sort of upsetting him that he couldn't lead me and that he couldn't do what I was doing. So I stopped. I realized that I was taking the position and he couldn't take it when I was there. So I sat down. I was like, okay, sit down. And then there was a time when he stepped up. He tried to lead me. He was still 12 and I was still 16. And it wasn't working. I was trying to tell him, hey, you gotta talk to a leader about this. You should talk to this person about this. You should talk to this about this. You know, helping him. And it was like, okay. And he tried. And it was sort of got to a point where I sort of forgot about it. And he kind of probably forgot about it or stopped trying. But he stood down. We were at the same level. We were both. I was 16 and he was 12, but neither of us were leading each other anywhere. We were sort of stuck in the same spot. And I was trying to move forward by myself. And he was trying. I'm sure he was trying to move forward to catch up to me. But I was also thinking, do I keep moving forward as he tries to catch up? Or do I stop growing? So I stop moving forward so he can catch up? Or do I go backwards for him? Do I go backwards and, you know, go from 16 to 15 to 14 to 12 to 13, oh, I missed 13. 16 to 15 to 13 to 12. Sort of, you know, like, get to the same age. Or 11, so he can be 12 and I can be 11. He can guide me then, right? I have 3 options. And it was hard. It was like, which do I do? And I kind of put it out of my mind. And I realized around the 1 month mark that I had done the second option. I had just stopped. I had done the second option where I had just stopped. And I had also been slowly decreasing. No, actually, I think God's telling me right now that I was starting to decrease. I had started off stopping without realizing I just stopped growing. I was not growing as much as I did normally, or just not growing at all. But God had been telling me that for a while as well. And this new thing, this relationship where I had to think about growing and not growing, and growing or not growing, or stop growing, or kind of decrease my growth. It was sort of, okay. And I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And then I didn't. I just sort of sat in my one little growth spot, my little 16 growth spot. And it was just sort of like me looking at him as a 12-year-old and being like, so you're gonna catch up, or you're just gonna stand there or slowly walk towards me? And I kind of didn't think about it much. And around the 1 month mark, God was like, hey, Jen, you're dying. And I was like, oh, wow. Because it's sort of like God had told me for a little while and kind of nudged me. And I didn't even realize, I didn't even hear him. I was busy listening to the world, to worldly things and possessions. I should have been thinking about spiritual things, so spiritual possession. I was too busy like sort of listening to Satan, and I was being turned away and I was being pushed down, and it was very hard. And I think I did tell him, hey, God's told me that I'm spiritually dying. And I don't remember what happened. I don't think anything happened to that. I don't think, because I was still not sure what to do. I didn't know if I should be growing or dying, or stay in my one spot, but I knew that he had to be growing. And I don't remember what happened. I can't remember if he kept growing or he encouraged, or I encouraged him to grow. I don't remember, but I can check that up and I'll tell you later. But yeah, and it was very hard for both of us at the end of a relationship, because I sent him that email and I told him all the things. I'm more mature than you. I'm more spiritually grown than you. You're not leading me. It's not a relationship that's glorifying God or centering God. It was confronting things for him to read. It was like, you're not good enough. You're not doing well enough. And I had realized that, I had said these things and they were hurtful. And they were confronting and they were rebuking and they were like, dude, you're not doing good. This isn't a relationship it's not supposed to be like this. A relationship is supposed to be like this. And it was very hard for both of us. Half of me to send that email, half him to read it, half for us to deal with the aftermath of it. He was very upset. He really wanted a second chance. I wanted to give it to him, but I knew that I couldn't. I knew that if I did, that second chance turned to a third chance, a fourth chance, a fifth chance. Nothing would change. It would be exactly the same. So I stopped. I was like, no, we can't. I'm sorry. It was very hard because he wanted this to keep going on. He didn't want us to break up. He wanted a second chance, and I told him no. I kept telling him, no, we can't. I'm sorry, we can't. And he was like, okay. At the point where he realized himself, okay, I understand. And that was sort of the moment when we were like, okay, now what? We went out for a month and a half. We loved each other, we really care for each other. We're not gonna stop going out with each other and just not talk to each other anymore. We want to keep talking to each other. We want to keep being friends, right? So we were like, okay, then we will keep being friends. And we kept talking. We still talk, not as much, but that's sort of expected, I guess. But yeah, what I've learned from this relationship is that God will tell you things throughout the relationship, and you have to listen to them. Your brothers and sisters in Christ will tell you things, and you have to listen to them. Mentors you have, leaders, they will tell you things, and they will pray for you, and they'll give you advice when you come up to them and ask them things. And you have to listen to them. They want what's best for you. They're not acting against you, they're acting for you. And you have to listen to them, you have to pray with them, you have to talk to them, talk to your partner about it as well. And yeah, it was a really big learning experience as my first relationship. My advice to you would be to pray a lot. We had no prayer. I know for me, I didn't pray about it. I'm not sure about him, but I know for myself, I didn't pray about this relationship. I didn't pray about where it would go, what we would be doing, what we wanted the relationship to be like. We didn't talk about it at all. We just sort of went into it. It was very difficult. Another thing I would say is talk to other brothers and sisters before and during the relationship. Don't lose those friendships that you could have, those relationships with other people, because ultimately if the relationship ends, who do you have when those relationships are gone because you've been obsessed and possessed by this relationship, this relationship that didn't work? Who do you have? You don't have friends anymore, you don't have brothers anymore, you don't have sisters anymore, because you've stopped talking to them, you've broken that relationship. I know that I have broken relationships with my friends, and it hurts me to think about that. It hurts me to realize that I put him above everything else. I put him above my friendship, people that I've known for so long, people that I've cared about, I've been through so much with, that I've shared so much with, that I stopped talking to them for this guy that it didn't even work out with, and it was very hurtful. And I remember when God had given me the realization, he was like, hey, it's time for you to, I think it's time for you to realize now that you've lost a lot of friendships, non-Christian and Christian. You lost so many friendships, people that you cared about, people that you talked to every day, people that you worried about constantly, and you talk to constantly, you've lost that, and it was very upsetting. And I remember that I did cry, and I was like, hey, I was in a relationship with this person and this person and this person, people that I care about and I loved, people that I would talk to every day, and I would, you know, that would mean so much to me. And it was very hurtful. It was very sad, and I really just don't want that for you guys, because it's hard to get those relationships back when it's gone. I've known that. I've come to see that, and it's really hard. It's, you know, you want to talk to people, but you sort of feel like you don't deserve to because of what you've done. You haven't talked to them, you stopped talking to them. Yeah, it's really hard, and it was really upsetting. Another thing is, talk to people that are in relationships or have been in relationships. They can give you advice, they can help you. I know my mentor, she helped me a lot. She would give me advice, and she told me one thing: you will reap what you sow. And it took me a really long time. It's like the relationship that I realized I've been reaping for a while. And yeah, it's really interesting to see that, and it's like, wow, I am reaping what I'm sowing. It's taking me this long to realize it, but I am reaping what I'm sowing. And you know, they give you advice that they know will be helpful, and they know will help you, and they know will comfort you in the end. It will comfort you when you realize this advice is helpful, this advice is applicable to this situation, and they know that, and they want what's best for you. They can give you the advice that no one else can give. Think about it a lot. That's my next advice to you. Really, really think about it. Really hard. I mean, it's such a big thing. It's a relationship. It's, you know, something that could lead to marriage. You have to think about it. You have to pray about it constantly. You have to think about this 24/7. It's something that, you know, you shouldn't rush into. I know at my church, I heard that an old leader, when her boyfriend asked her out, she prayed about it every day, all day, for a couple months before because it's a big thing, and they're still going out. It's been a couple years and they're still going out, and you can see where that prayer has helped them. You can see where that prayer has, you know, guided her. And really think about it and pray about it. And talk to the other person about it. I've read this written out. Talk to the other person about it. I'm sure they're going through the same thing as you. And before you go into the relationship, you have to make boundaries. You have to make foundations and rules and lines. You have to put a line in where it's okay for this and not okay for the other there's something else. You have to make those things before the relationship so you can agree on them, not when you kind of learn as you go and make them up as you go and then realize later, hey, that didn't work, this didn't work, that's not right, this isn't right, why are we doing this? I thought should we be doing this? It's like, it's not until you get to that point when you realize we didn't do this. We haven't made a rule here, or here. We haven't made this foundation. It's hard. Relationships are hard. They're not easy. They're not meant to be easy. And you have to realize that before you go into the relationship. They're not going to be easy. I didn't realize that. I was like, oh, I'll be fine. They're really hard. You have to work at it. You know, it's a constant thing every day. It's not like you have a break in the relationship. Or you can, but it's not advisable. It's not like you have a break in relationships where you become friends for like a day and then you go out the next day. It's like you're constantly going out. You have to be ready for this. You have to be, you know, firm in this. You have to be like, yeah, this is what I think God wants me. What God wants. I've prayed about this. I've thought about this. I talked to them about this. We've made the foundations. We've made all the rules. We've done this and this and this and this. You know, it's like you have to make sure you do this. You have to. It's for it's for your own good and for them, to protect both of you. I don't know what to say. Yeah. I've written like beware. Something that I'll tell you to be mindful of is don't pursue them if you're not ready. If you know for yourself that you're not ready for a relationship, don't pursue them. Don't let them pursue you. Talk to them. You know. Also for girls, don't pursue the guy. The thing to guard yourself, to protect yourself. Don't pursue the guy. don't do what I did. Don't pursue the guy. It sort of ruins the fun. Like, I think girls always think of, oh, that guy, when he's gonna ask me out, and that guy's gonna run after me, and that guy's gonna chase me and pursue me and do all these things trying to go out with him. It's no fun if the girl does that. It's no fun for the girl. It's like, I want to be pursued. I want to be pursued actively, and I'm gonna wait for that. It's sort of like, that's something I haven't written down. Waiting. Wait for that guy. Wait for the guy that you know that you're ready for, and you know that it's gonna work, and you know that God has given him to you. You have to wait, patiently wait, not impatiently wait and be like, I'm being patient, I'm waiting for this guy, and then being like, where is this guy? No, you have to be patient, and you have to wait, and you have to be like, okay, I know this guy is coming. I hope this guy is coming, and when he comes, I'll be grateful. If he doesn't come, I'll still be grateful. Singleness is good. Singleness is amazing, I realized that after the relationship, but not for the reasons that I'm trying to convey to you. Singleness is good. Singleness is amazing. Relationships are a privilege, not a right. God is so loving to give us relationships. We do not deserve them at all. We should be single. Singleness is amazing, and dating is like a gift. Dating is a gift from God. So take it as a gift. Don't be kind of it's sort of don't take it for granted. There we go. Don't take the relationship for granted. It's a gift, and use it wisely. Use it to glorify God, and use it to show God in everything. Something written down here is such a thing that you should remember, but you don't want to kind of remember it. It's don't automatically think that someone likes you. In the essence that if he didn't actually like me, but I thought he did, and I sort of changed the way I started talking to him, changed the way I behaved, kind of made it very obvious that I liked him. It's sort of like, what happens when that guy or girl tells you, hey, I have a feeling, I think that you like me, and I'm really sorry, but I don't like you. It hurts you. You're like, but I thought you did. And there's also another thing, to be careful of how you behave, and be careful of what you do. Make sure you protect, guys, protect that girl, guard her heart. As a sister, for you as a brother, protect your sister. As girls, guard yourself, guard your own heart, protect yourself. Girls, you know yourself, you know what you're like, you know what you can be like. And guys, you kind of know how you act, and the way your actions have an impact on girls. I think you should know this by now. Yeah, you know how you act, you know what you do, and you know how it affects that person. So be very careful of how you act. Yeah. I don't really think of anything else. But yeah, I really hope that was a very helpful talk, a very helpful conversation. So things to remember. Okay. Things to remember. Pray before the relationship. That is a big thing. That is my number one thing. Pray. Pray about this relationship. Also, think about the relationship a lot. Yeah, think about it a lot. Talk to other people about it. Talk to basics. Talk to people that have already been in relationships or are in relationships at the moment. And talk to the other person. Talk to the person, the guy or the girl that you want to go out with him. Go out with. Talk to them. They, talk to them about this, and before you go into the relationship. Girls, do not pursue the guy. Please do not pursue the guy. Guys, guard the girl's heart and make sure that you are ready to pursue her when you start pursuing her. Make sure that you're both ready when you pursue when you pursue her, okay? Make sure that you're both ready. You don't think like, oh, I'm ready. I'm gonna pursue her. What if she's not ready? Make sure you're both ready. Protect yourself. Wait for this guy or girl. This guy or girl will be perfect for you. Wait for them, you know, be patient. You know, they're coming, just wait. Just wait, they're coming, it's fine. God has made someone for you and they are coming. They are coming to get you and they're coming to pursue you. So just wait for them. Oh guys, that girl is there. That girl is there for you to pursue. You wait for that girl, okay? That girl will be the one that you've been waiting for your whole life. Yeah. Last thing. Dating is a privilege. Singleness is still amazing. You know, dating is a gift. It should not be taken for granted. And if you stay single for the rest of your life, make sure that you're content in that. Remember that, you know, singleness is good. Singleness is great. Singleness is amazing. You know, singleness means that you have more time to dedicate yourself to God. And there's no one to distract you from that. There's no one to take, you know, that you can kind of get distracted by and be turned away from God by that. Singleness is something that I will show you quickly, that I will actually just draw right now, that my chaplain at my school taught me, showed me. It was like, okay, this is a really bad drawing. But you can see that God, He loves this person. He loves the girl. He loves the girl, and God loves the guy. And the girl loves the guy, and the guy loves the girl. So it's like, if God loves this girl has to show God's love to him. And this guy has to show the love that she has shown him to this guy, to God. And it's sort of like a triangle, okay? Yeah. Yeah. I have nothing else to say. My phone is vibrating at the moment. I'm getting messages from Facebook. I never get messages on Facebook. Ever. And now I do. I don't want to read these. I'm sorry. Yeah, not important conversation. But, yeah. I really hope that you take stuff away from this talk. Really make sure that you protect yourself and yeah, just look out for yourself. If you need someone to talk to, just send me an email. Normally check my emails. I'll put the thing down the bottom here, somewhere. Yeah. So just send me an email, comment. I'll get back to you ASAP. Yeah, I really hope you took something away from this talk, and thank you for watching. I'm sorry for being away for so long. Yeah, bring up anything if you ever need to talk to me. Until next video, take care. God bless.